Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moment. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Renegade Immortal episode number 254 based on novel. So let's start. Celestials didn't cultivate domains. True Celestials had no sentiments. Wang Lin knew this. Ripples appeared from the center of the celestial pool and celestial spiritual energy began to spread. The surrounding cultivators all silently pondered the pros and cons. To enter or not to enter became a difficult choice for them. Master Flamespark didn't force them but calmly looked at the juniors before him. Not only him, all the surrounding observers and the messengers of the Thunder Celestial Temple carefully watched. All the cultivators in the All-Heaven Star system also watched intently. It was as if the entire All-Heaven Star system had become silent. All the cultivators became quiet. This was a difficult choice. No one could say which was right and which was wrong. It could only be said that these were two different roads. One was the road of the Celestials and the other was the road of cultivators. No one could clearly say which was stronger until the end. In ancient times, ancient cultivators wished to become immortal. For them, entering the celestial pool was a great honor. Their origin energy would change into celestial origin. This was the final goal of cultivators from ancient times. Without the cultivation of domain, there was nothing to comprehend. All increases in cultivation level would rely on heavenly treasures, celestial cultivation, and celestial pills. After the collapse of the celestial realm, cultivators no longer tried to become celestials, because the celestial realm no longer existed. Instead, their paths were Tao. Because cultivating Tao allowed them to gain enlightenment. The key to cultivating Tao was comprehension. Comprehend the heavens, either to obey it or defy it. If there was no comprehension, then it would be very difficult to increase one's cultivation level. At this moment, what was placed before Wang Lin and these cultivators were two roads. One was to choose the ancient path and the other was to choose the present path. Shuing calmly looked at Wang Lin. He hoped Wang Lin would enter the celestial pool and give up Tao. He wanted Wang Lin to become a real celestial and become a true disciple of his master, Bai Fan. Shuing pondered for a bit and looked at Wang Lin. He clenched his teeth and walked toward the celestial pool. He had been arrogant throughout his entire life, and among his peers, no one was worthy in his eyes. After he left planet Dawn Lin, no one had been his match. However, during the Thunder Celestial Temple's celestial competition, he was repeatedly beaten by Wang Lin. Then, in the one line to heaven, he was killed. He was unable to accept this. Shuing had a trace of admiration toward Wang Lin. However, the admiration was insignificant compared to his unwillingness. If this continued, he knew that it would be difficult for him to surpass Wang Lin. He had to take another road and take a qualitative leap. Therefore, he resolutely abandoned his domain and chose the path of a celestial. After entering the celestial pool, Shuing felt an unbearable pain coming from his body. The water seemed to boil and drill into his body. Large drops of sweat appeared on his forehead. His pain was almost enough to make him faint. It was as if there was a knife carving his flesh. This domain that he had cultivated for thousands of years was being absorbed by it. Large amounts of celestial spiritual energy entered his body and fused with his origin energy, forming a never-before-seen energy that filled his body. Only 7 minutes later, Shuing let out a roar and his hair moved without any wind. Popping sounds came from his body and a very powerful celestial aura exploded from him. His current strength was one step stronger than before. Shuting's eyes were like lightning and a very comfortable feeling filled his body. He held up his fist as if he controlled the power of the heavens and earth. The celestial spells he knew flashed through his head. In his heart, he felt like he could use them at any time and have full control. Shumu, one day we will battle again. Shuing walked out of the celestial pool. His eyes shined as he looked at Wang Lin and then withdrew his gaze. Shuting's performance immediately set the minds of the indecisive cultivators. After him, cultivators walked into the pool one by one. They let out miserable screams before their cultivation levels increased explosively. Dense celestial spiritual energy came from their bodies as they slowly walked out from the celestial pool. Everyone that walked out was filled with joy. The feeling of power and complete control over their celestial spells made them feel no regret choosing this path. Wang Lin calmly looked at the celestial pool. His heart felt very complex. He had seen the third step, and in the celestial realm, he saw Celestial Emperor Bai Fan going crazy while pointing at the sky. All of this was filled with mystery. Cultivating as a celestial wasn't simple. He couldn't determine whether this path was right or wrong, but he wasn't willing to choose. In addition, the most important fact was that when the celestial pool appeared, none of the old monsters even looked at it. This made Wang Lin even more determined about his choice. Out of the Thunder Celestial, Vice Thunder Celestial, and 36 Heaven Celestials, a total of 17 people chose to enter the celestial pool. In addition to Wang Lin, Nan Gonghan, Shen Gonghu, and Zhon Konglai, along with a dozen or so other people, chose not to enter. This is your own choice. Don't regret it in the future. Master Flamespark's eyes swept the crowd. He raised his right hand and pointed forward. There was a rumbling sound as the celestial pool floated into the sky and disappeared. Please, the celestial bestowment stone. Master Flamespark's shout was extremely respectful. After he spoke, the clouds began to move. The clouds turned into cloud dragons and began circling the area. Waves of shocking pressure descended from the sky and enveloped the area. All of the cultivators in the All-Heaven Star system stared intently at all of this. A moment later, one of the cloud dragons flew down from the sky and spat out a stone. This stone was only 5 feet long, but when it fell, it made the entire Thunder Celestial Temple tremble unceasingly. Powerful celestial spiritual energy swept the area and began to spread like crazy. Thunder Celestial, Vice Thunder Celestial, and 36 Heaven Celestials, I give you the chance to carve your name on the stone. Shuting's eyes lit up and he stepped out. He arrived next to the stone, and when he looked at it, he was shocked. Countless names were engraved on the celestial bestowment stone. Each of the names gave off a powerful aura, and there were even many names of illustrious people in the All-Heaven Star system. This made his urge to engrave his name on it even stronger. He raised his right hand, searched for a spot, and engraved his name. At this moment, there was a flash green light. A powerful force entered Shuting's body and pushed him back. Shuting sneered and the celestial origin energy inside his body surged. The black mist appeared between his eyebrows and entered his finger. He mercilessly carved on the celestial bestowment stone. He was barely able to engrave his own name. After he finished, his body felt like it was going to collapse. He retreated few steps and his face was pale. Wang Lin looked at Shuting. The reason why Shuting was tired was because a small portion of Shuting's origin soul had split off and was absorbed by the stone. Wang Lin immediately became vigilant. Master Flamespark nodded. Anyone who could carve their name on the stone had to have shocking cultivation. He was very satisfied with Shuting. This person would definitely shine in the battle against the Alliance Star system. After Shuting, the 36 Heaven Celestials all came forward. However, aside from Nan Gonghan, the six-fingered cultivator, and the big-headed boy, no one else could carve their name on the stone. Wang Lin was the last person. His eyes were calm as he slowly walked toward the celestial bestowment stone. He looked at the names on the stone and silently pondered. Wang Lin was naturally cautious. There were many reasons why he didn't enter the celestial pool. Now this celestial bestowment stone made him ponder even more. His pondering made the surrounding cultivators' gazes gather. Wang Lin had been very eye-catching in the celestial title competition. When he chose to not enter the celestial pool, it set off a wave of discussion. Now that he was pondering before the stone, it caused the surrounding cultivators to make their own guesses. Not only them, but everyone in the All-Heaven Star system who saw the stone became focused and watched carefully. They wanted to know if this Shumu would give up. If he didn't give up, would he be able to engrave his name on it? Though almost none of them knew the legend or origin of the celestial bestowment stone. As he pondered, Wang Lin's eyes lit up. His right hand lifted and his index finger pressed down. A powerful force came from within the stone and bounced his right hand away. After frowning a bit, origin energy cycled through his body and his finger pressed down once more. This time the rebound force was even stronger. However, origin energy surged into his finger to resist this force. As a result, as Wang Lin moved his finger, the rebound force became even stronger. In the end, there were popping sounds, as if the stone was about to collapse. Bursts of harsh light came from the stone. When Wang Lin finished the last stroke, he felt a portion of his origin soul split off and move toward his fight finger. However, just as his origin soul was about to fuse with the stone, Wang Lin suddenly raised his head. Borrowing the force from the stone, he retreated a few steps and was able to stop the process. Master Flamespark's eyes narrowed and he meaningfully looked at Wang Lin. He naturally saw that Wang Lin's origin soul hadn't fused with the stone. Even the name engraved wasn't Wang Lin or Shu Mu, but Master Demon. This Shu Mu is indeed worthy of being someone from the Alliance star system. He isn't greedy and remains cautious instead. Master Flamespark withdrew his gaze. Now this is the last reward to the Thunder Celestial, Vice Thunder Celestial, and 36 Heaven Celestials. The 38 of you can each make a request. The Thunder Celestial Temple, the Shuing family, and the Gongsun family will do our best to help you. However, if anyone deliberately makes a difficult request, their reward will be cancelled. Wang Lin's mind trembled greatly. He took a deep breath and forcibly calmed down his rapidly beating heart. His eyes shined like never before. The reason he came here to participate in the celestial bestowment was for this last reward. Wang Lin didn't display this violent shift in emotion. His eyes gradually calmed, but behind this calmness was a flame that was burning brightly. He wasn't the first to step forward, he waited for others to state their requests before he slowly walked forward. He clasped his hands at Master Flamespark and respectfully said, "Junior has a request." Master Flamespark looked at Wang Lin and calmly said, "Shu Mu, speak your request." Junior's request is for a broken nascent soul to reform flesh and awaken. As Wang Lin spoke, there was no change in his voice. However, his heart pounded as if it was going to burst out of his chest. Oh! Master Flamespark's eyes narrowed. He pondered a bit before looking at Old Man Shuing and saying, "This request isn't difficult. Since ancient times, the Shuing family has had a spell that is said to be very magical. It should be able to meet your requirements. How about it, fellow cultivator Shuing?" Old Man Shuing faintly smiled. He admired Wang Lin a lot. He smiled and said, "Shu Mu, I presume the nascent soul you speak of had their body destroyed and suffered serious injuries. This caused them to go into sleep. This shouldn't be difficult. Take out the nascent soul and let this old man examine it first." Wang Lin silently pondered. Li Muwen was very important to him and was irreplaceable. She was also someone he had to protect, and at this moment, he hesitated. He raised his right hand and touched his bag of holding. A small ball of light immediately flew out. In the first 3 days at the Thunder Celestial Temple, Wang Lin had already taken out Li Muwen's nascent soul from the heaven-defying bead when no one was around. He had sealed her with the annihilation restriction so her nascent soul wouldn't dissipate. All of it was for this moment. Holding the ball of light with his right hand, Wang Lin's left hand touched it. The ball of light opened up like a flower, revealing the nascent soul cultivating inside. This nascent soul was Li Muwen. Her face was pale and she was sitting in the lotus position. Her whole body gave off a sense of weakness, as if she would dissipate completely if the wind blew on her. There was a layer of light on her body. This made Li Muwen look very holy. She looked like a celestial that had descended from the heavens and landed in Wang Lin's hand. Although she was asleep and never awake, people were still able to feel Li Muwen's gentleness and kindness. Her appearance was very beautiful. Even though she wasn't as stunning as Liu Mai or as bright as Red Butterfly in Wang Lin's heart, what did those things count for? Back then, Lin Muwen aged rapidly in his arms. Everything turned to ash and disappeared. Only one thing echoed inside Wang Lin's heart. "Even if the heavens want you to die, I'll take you back." For this sentence, Wang Lin came to the All-Heaven star system. For this sentence, he stood before the Thunder Celestial Temple. When Wang Lin took out Li Muwen's nascent soul, 11 Zifeng, who had her eye locked onto Wang Lin, almost collapsed. Her face was pale, her body trembled, and she felt her heart shatter. So it turns out, he went through all these tests for this woman. Tears came out from 11 Zifeng's eyes. As she looked at the nascent soul in his hand, her heart ached and she felt bitterness in her heart. To have her lover do all of this, although her nascent soul is damaged and asleep, this is happiness. Qing Shui looked at Wang Lin and the nascent soul in Wang Lin's palm before a hint of melancholy appeared in his eyes. Many years ago, he also had a woman he would guard with his life. It was just. Qing Shui's eyes revealed agony. When old man Shuing looked at Li Muwen's nascent soul, his smile froze. As he looked at Li Muwen's nascent soul, he slowly frowned and asked, "How long has this nascent soul slept for?" Wang Lin took a deep breath. At this moment, his determination from his 1,000 years of cultivation was extremely fragile. Suppressing his trembling mind, he softly said, "Nearly 700 years." Old man Shuing nodded slightly and said, "It looks like you spent a lot of effort to preserve this nascent soul for 700 years. However, 700 years is too long. How can a nascent soul cultivator survive for 700 years? Not to mention the fact that she has lost her flesh and only her nascent soul remains. And above all else, this nascent soul is slowly dying. Shumu, change your request." Old man Shuing sighed. He wanted to help this Shumu, so he gave him a chance to change his request. Old man Shuing's voice was like a sharp needle that mercilessly stabbed Wang Lin's heart. This kind of pain felt as if the world before him had collapsed. There was only desolation and nothing remained. This pain caused Wang Lin's will to live to fade. Those words echoed in his mind again and again like thunder. Is there really no way? Wang Lin's eyes were filled with extreme sadness as he looked at Li Muwen. Old man Shuing let out a long sigh. He took another careful look at Li Muwen's nascent soul and shook his head. If this old man's guess isn't wrong, she died due to her lifespan being up and you used a special method to extract her nascent soul and then nourished it. However, just as the nourishment was about to succeed, an accident happened at the key moment. This made it so her nascent soul couldn't withstand it. Although you saved her, the truth is that she is already on the verge of death. I can't help you with my strength. She is someone who should have died already. Forcibly making her stay is a painful matter for you and her. The only thing I can do is help you send her to the reincarnation cycle. Wang Lin's body flickered and he retreated a few steps. His face was pale and he coughed out blood and revealed a miserable smile. He looked at Li Muwen's nascent soul in his hand. His memories of Li Muwen flashed before his eyes. The feeling of his heart aching filled his body. This pain pierced his bones and shredded his heart. 2 streams of tears came from Wang Lin's eyes. In his lifetime, the amount of time he shed tears could be counted with one hand. Looking at Li Muwen, an unyielding flame ignited inside Wang Lin's heart. Even if the heavens want you to die, I'll take you back. This is my commitment to you. Wang Lin raised his right hand and grabbed Li Muwen's nascent soul. The seal immediately shrank and formed a small ball once more. Old man Shuing silently pondered. After a long time, he suddenly said, "It isn't that there is absolutely no method." Wang Lin's body trembled as if tens of thousands bolts of thunder had exploded in his body. At this moment, all of his energy focused in his eyes as he looked at old man Shuing. However, the price for this method is too great. The key to why this woman can't survive is that her lifespan is up. If you can expend her lifespan, there might be a chance. This spell is called the Chishi spell. However, I am unable to use it, only the ancient ancestor that is in closed-door cultivation can use it. Shumu, I have to warn you that to use the Chishi spell requires the life force of someone very close to this woman. This is the only way for there to be no rejection. However, the person who's giving life will have their longevity reduced. This kind of reduction isn't equal. You must give up 90% of your life for only a sliver of a chance of this woman recovering. However, this is only a sliver of a chance. If it doesn't succeed, your lifespan won't recover. Please think about it carefully. If you agree, I can take your request to the ancestor once. The surroundings were completely silent. The Shuing family ancestor's voice echoed across the heavens and earth and fell on everyone's ears. At this moment, all the cultivators in the all-heaven star system heard his words. For a sliver of a chance for this woman to revive, he would have to give up most of his lifespan. Was this worth it or not? This question troubled the heart of every cultivator that heard it. Old man Shuing really admired Wang Lin. He had no selfish goal or malicious intent when he said this before every cultivator in the all-heaven star system. Wang Lin looked at the restriction ball in his hand. His gaze seemed to be able to penetrate it as he looked at Li Muwen and slowly said, "I agree." His voice was a bit hoarse. His gaze seemed to pierce the restriction ball and fell on Li Muwen. A sense of sadness filled the area. Li Muwen seemed to have heard his voice, and her body trembled gently and she tried to open her eyes. However, she had no strength, she only felt endless fatigue and sadness. Wang Lin knew that lifespan came from vitality. The stronger the vitality, the longer the lifespan. When a cultivator's cultivation level increases, their vitality increases. This was why powerful cultivators had long lives. Old man Shuing nodded and said, "Since you agree, once the celestial bestowment is complete, follow me to planet Wang Lin." The reminiscence remained in Qing Shui's eyes. There was a hint of melancholy as he gently said, "Shu Mu, I'll go with you." Wang Lin looked at Qing Shui and his eyes revealed gratitude. He nodded. He knew that Qing Shui was worried about something happening to him at planet Wang Lin. Qing Shui decided to accompany him to ensure this matter proceeded smoothly. After this, the remaining people all made their requests. What was worth mentioning was that both Shu Ting and Nan Gonghan made the same request. They requested to enter the treasure pavilion to learn celestial spells. After everyone obtained their rewards, the celestial bestowment ended. The moment it ended, Master Flamespark's laughter echoed. He floated above his praying mat and waved his sleeve. His eyes shined and he shouted, "Fellow cultivators, help me open up the passage to the Alliance star system. The war is about to begin." Master Flamespark floated in the air as both his hand formed a seal and bursts of black light came out from his forehead. After these black lights appeared, they quickly grew into fragments of a continent. Dozens of celestial fragments instantly covered the sky and created an unimaginable pressure. This made every cultivator at the Thunder Celestial Temple activate their cultivation to resist the pressure. At first glance, it looked like the sky was divided. Rays of light came through from the gap in the intersection of the fragments. When all the cultivators in the Alheven star system saw this, their minds trembled and their blood began to boil. Master Flamespark's eyes revealed hatred he had been hiding for tens of thousands of years. He took a deep breath and opened his arm. As the fragments rotated, rumbling sounds came from the sky. This sound was extremely intense and caused the world to change colors. Countless fragments covered the sky. At this moment, as Master Flamespark's arms moved, they began to rotate slowly. They were slow at first and gradually became faster. The whistling sound suddenly began to spread farther and farther. It penetrated the Thunder Celestial Temple until the surrounding regions could all hear it. As these fragments rotated around a center, a vortex appeared in the sky. This vortex was very powerful and formed a storm. As the rumbling and whistling sounds continued, it created an earth-shaking scene. The clouds in the sky disappeared like crazy. The starry sky appeared as if it was being ripped open by a pair of giant hands. The vortex formed by the giant hands was extremely bright in the starry sky. The vortex expanded until it covered the entire sky above the Thunder Celestial Temple. This vortex contained an unimaginable power. This power would instantly kill a Nirvana Scryer cultivator. Even Nirvana Cleanser cultivators wouldn't be able to last long in there. As time passed, this power became even stronger and continued to gather within the depths of the vortex. Earth-shattering popping sounds continued to echo from inside the vortex. This sound was like the heartbeats of the cultivators. Every time this sound appeared, It would shake the minds of the cultivators here as if a giant hammer was pounding on their chests. They weren't the only ones. Almost all the cultivators in the All-Heaven star system could vaguely hear his sound. Every time this sound echoed, countless ripples would appear in the sky and spread endlessly. As the vortex grew bigger and bigger, the sounds coming from the vortex became unimaginably loud. This could be compared to thunder. This powerful sound was this extreme power hitting the spatial barrier. Master Flamespark's white hair flowed and he shouted, "Fellow cultivators, help me." The eyes of the old monsters on the praying mats all shined brightly, including blood gods. They all flew into the air and sat down before displaying their various spells. These spells entered the vortex, causing its power to increase several-fold. The popping sounds became even more intense and the rotational force had reached its limit. The force was like a sharp drill that constantly stabbed at the void, trying to break through. Master Flamespark's hands formed a seal and he shouted, "Power of the Thunder Realm." Thunder beasts appeared from the dozens of fragments. They let out roars before turning into bolts of thunder and charging at the center of the vortex. Boom! The sky trembled and the vortex expanded as it continued to rotate. A cold aura came from the vortex. The surrounding old monsters all formed seals. Li Yun's eyes lit up and he rushed out. His right hand gave off a white light as he charged directly into the vortex. There was a loud bang that sounded like a mirror shattering. Li Yun's body trembled, his face turned pale, and he retreated. The Shengong family ancestor stepped out. He slapped his forehead and a small flag flew out. There was a flash of light as it flew into the vortex. The sound of mirror shattering echoed once more. Blood God was covered in a blood light and rushed out into vortex with his fist before him. This punch gave off a harsh red glow and pierced into the vortex. The Xian family ancestor and the man named Gongsun stepped forth. After that, various old monsters all attacked. For a while, the vortex began to expand even more and the sounds of explosions were endless. In the end, Master Flamespark bit the tip of his tongue and spat out essence blood. The blood turned into a blood mist and fused with the world. Master Flamespark's eyes were red as he shouted, "Land of the celestial realm, open the heavens and split the earth." Various illusory figures appeared above the dozens of fragments that were creating the giant vortex. These illusory figures were the souls sealed inside the fragments by Master Flamespark. After they appeared, they immediately entered the vortex and fused. At this moment, an unimaginable power appeared. What's most frightening about it was that there was a trace of G-Realm within that power. This trace of G-Realm came from Celestial Lord Qing Shui. The red lightning containing the power of the G-Realm stabbed into the depths of the vortex with the support of this unimaginable power. Boom! The entire Thunder Celestial Temple trembled, the sky changed colors, and the clouds were blown away. All the cultivators in the All-Heaven star system saw a scene, the sound transmission stones that they would never forget in their lives. The vortex in the sky suddenly trembled and a small crack was torn open by force. Just as the crack appeared, it quickly spread, and in an instant it was over 100 feet wide. It was like a scar that would make your heart tremble. Black whirlwinds moved around the edges of the crack. It took so much effort to open a crack in the spatial barrier to the Alliance star system, so how could Master Flamespark allow it to close? He had waited too long for this day. His eyes were bloodshot and his face revealed a ferocious expression. His right hand formed a seal as he pointed at the sky and shouted, "Hold the heavens." Inside the vortex, one of the fragments suddenly shrank and instantly closed in on the crack. Then the fragment immediately grew. There was a loud rumble as the crack was forced to remain open by the fragment. However, the spatial barrier crack had a power no cultivator could resist. The fragment was immediately crushed and it collapsed. However, its collapse managed to stall the closing of the crack enough. Even more fragments went into the crack to prevent it from closing, and in the end the crack was slowly losing its ability to repair itself. As more fragments rushed in, the crack was mercilessly torn open and widened a lot. It widened by 1,000 feet. At this moment, the cultivators at the Thunder Celestial Temple were all in high spirits. Not only them, but all the cultivators in the All-Heaven Star System saw this, and killing intent filled the All-Heaven Star System. Outside the Thunder Celestial Temple, the armies on all four sides looked up and stared at the crack above them. An aura that didn't belong to the All-Heaven Star System and one Wang Lin was very familiar with came from the crack. This aura was the aura of the Alliance Star System. Bright stars that Wang Lin was very familiar with appeared in the crack. However, just at this moment, a roar suddenly came from the crack. This roar was very strong and formed a shockwave. It was like a roar from ancient times. A huge hand came out from the crack and grabbed one of the fragments. It ruthlessly squeezed and the fragment shattered. It's not an ancient god. Wang Lin's eyes narrowed. He didn't feel the aura of an ancient god from that giant hand. That giant hand didn't stop. It reached out and quickly moved and was about to close this 1,000-foot crack. However, just at this moment, a vague figure silently appeared outside the crack. This figure was extremely strange when it appeared. It was as if it had forced itself into existence before everyone's eyes. When Wang Lin saw this figure, his mind trembled. His pupils suddenly shrank. There was a flash of coldness in Qing Shui's eyes. The blurred figure that appeared was the person that stopped the battle between Qing Shui and Blood God. He appeared in a strange manner and mercilessly pointed at the giant hand. A powerful surge of source origin energy shot out. When Wang Lin saw this, he felt terror in his mind. It was as if everything in the world was frozen and that finger was the only thing that remained moving. The finger landed on the giant arm coming out from the crack. The giant arm immediately collapsed and turned back into source origin energy. Thou hast opened the spatial barrier and violated the law of the ancient celestial realm, a mighty voice came from the crack. It became more and more distant until it eventually disappeared. This old man wants to see if the ancient celestial realm really exists or not, a phantom voice said. It was calm, but it contained the might of a supreme ruler. The Alliance Star System. Wang Lin looked at the familiar starry sky on the other side of the crack and silently pondered. He had left planet Suzaku a very long time ago. This video will end here.